Jonathan Powell, the 6'6 freshman out of West Virginia. Recruitment's getting down to it. Top three essentially left that are in the mix. Ohio State, who we just took an official visit to, also meeting with North Carolina and Ole Miss. They get the services of a talented, versatile freshman who's shown some upside. Could be one of those transfers who's six around your program for a while. So, Riley, we have these three schools. Let's talk about Powell the player first. Like, what are each of these schools trying to get out of Powell the player?
Someone who is already a 3-point maker, you're trying to get him to like fit the defense part in the 3 and D archetype. And I will say it's encouraging he played on the sixth best defense in the country per Bart Torvik. So it seems like with the amount of minutes he played, you hope he's good on that end and can at least be solid in team concepts. I don't think he has like if I'm not mistaken, he doesn't have like eye-popping steal numbers or
There's not.
yeah, there's nothing there that's like oh, he was extraordinary in that area, or in terms of like an event creator on defense, as the draft Twitter folks like to say. But hopefully, like coming from a good coach and Darian DeVries, excelling when stepping up in a role when Tucker DeVries went down, just being a freshman as well, like you convince yourself there is some upside there. Like he was second in the Big 12 among freshmen and made threes. And I mean, I do think it's not easy to step into a bigger role than he probably anticipated when Tuck went down, you know? So yeah, but I just think at this point he hasn't really shown a lot much more besides shooting the ball.
Yeah, and how real do you think the shot is? Because he shot 35% from three, 35.2, but only 48% from the line this season. It was only 25 free throws on the year, but he only made 12 of those 25. And typically that free throw percentage is, what indicates your shooting touch. A lot of times you'll see NBA scouts look at that as players who struggle to shoot the three, but did well from the foul line as proof or tangible hope that the 3-point shot can improve. This is kind of the inverse of that. How sold are you on him as a true shooter or a true offensive weapon?
Yeah, I think his shot form looks pretty good, but most of his makes were like straight spot up. You know,
Mhm.
he wasn't someone who they ran off of screens a ton, a lot of standstill threes. I think that's probably what you want to bank on here is that he does develop more as a movement shooter. The free throw percentage is really ugly. Like there's no way to sugarcoat that, but I guess if you do want to discredit it a little bit, like 25 attempts is hardly anything.
Yeah.
I'm more so concerned that like you played as many minutes as you did and only took 25 free throws all season.
Yeah. What's the number? 26 is what it takes to be statistically significant, like just in the form of surveys and data. So
hmm
we it's still a small sample size, right? We can write that off. Let's talk about his fit at Ohio State first, because that's the school that he's actually visiting in person. North Carolina and Ole Miss are Zoom calls. How do you see his fit at Ohio State, and what kind of role they would expect from him and his ability to fill it?
I mean, I guess he slots into the Micah Parrish role. Parrish similarly, I think was mainly like a 3 and D kind of guy, although I buy like Parrish the defensive side of things is probably easier just when you look at him being a seasoned vet who has a fully developed frame already. But I would guess that's probably what I mean, hopefully they have a better pitch than just saying, come be our Micah Parrish. Like maybe aim a little loftier with the comps there. But yeah, like
This
every
is
team.
this is Jake Diebler.
So
Who
maybe
who can
so what
say
you're
if
saying
there's a
is he.
better pitch or not?
So what you're saying is that might be his pitch. Come be our
That might
next
be the
Micah
pitch.
Parrish. Let's cut up a bunch of Micah Parrish film and tell you that's what you can be if you come to the Ohio State University. But like these types of players, they have a malleable role because if you're just in there to like have good size and knock down spot up threes, you're probably gonna find legit minutes at a high major. You know, like he's already proved he could do that for a team in the second best league in the country. That probably should have gotten to the NCAA tournament. Maybe there's some chicanery that kept him out of it. Shout out to the Heels, who he's looking at maybe transferring to. But yeah, it's an easy to project role. It's just more so like, what do you think he can become? Is he someone who you buy the upside to become more than just like to call it like it is? He pretty much was a 3-point specialist his freshman year,
Mhm.
and do you think he can be a little more well-rounded? He can develop the handle a little bit more, get to the rim, draw contact because he does have legit size. He just needs to develop his body a little bit more. But yeah, I think with Ohio State, I would guess that's probably what they're looking at right now. You're hopefully bringing back Thornton and Mobley. Should get Devin Royal back as well. Like what's kind of missing is that starter at the three who can just play off of Thornton and Mobley well and knock down his open shots.
You mentioned the Tar Heels. Um, that's the one where I think his fit perhaps is the most clunky because I'm anticipating North Carolina getting Ian Jackson back, and that may be foolish of me to think, but I think that's kind of where I'm leaning at this point. Um, everybody needs shooting. North Carolina certainly needs shooting as well. But if you have Ian Jackson back and you're gonna have Drake Powell back, unless you're gonna play Powell at the four again, Drake Powell at the four again, you're bringing Jonathan Powell in to come off the bench essentially, and that's not the same kind of pitch as the other two schools. It seems like anyway.
Yeah, I mean, to me, just reading some tea leaves here, if you look at the amount of wings Carolina's in on right now with Cannon Catchings, Jonathan Powell, Nick Dorn, they're recruiting at least like they're expecting to lose one of those guys, if not both. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they don't get either back just because with someone like Drake could be the type of player where an NBA team, very much like they did with Ryan Dunn, who went in the 20s to the Phoenix Suns with
Yep.
no jumper. I mean, Drake shot 38, 39% from three this year, and he has all the defensive tools. It's more so just like, can you get him to be more assertive on offense, refine his handle a little bit? But it would be pretty easy to see a team talk themselves into Drake Powell to give him a first round guarantee. Ian Jackson's I would say, more of the question mark, just because we saw the flashes of him being like this 6'5" shot creator. We also saw the nadir of his last month of the season where, he was playing fewer than 20 minutes a game, missing missing shots and taking bad shots to yeah, but I think he's a big question mark in general right now, to where it looks like Carolina's like, hey, we need to make sure we have what's the phrase? Like a couple fishing poles in the pond. Might have just made that up, but
That works. That works.
we got to have multiple fishing poles in the water.
That works. I think the Ole Miss pitch is similar to Ohio State's, right, where you're losing a lot of guys and you need production back. Chris Beard's a really good on-court coach. His player development has been, there throughout his entire coaching career. I think that's a simple sell. Playing time and development at Ole Miss, and it's a little bit more proven than Ohio State.
Yeah, yeah. And right now, I mean, more established coach than Hubert Davis, arguably a better situation. It's good options.
Yeah,
As I'm like watching more and more highlights of Jonathan Powell, I know like initially when I looked at that free throw percentage, I was like, I don't really know if I want this dude. It looks like he's just a shooter. I don't know if he's going to give you more than like spot up shooting. I gotta say, his celebrations kind of have me in on this guy.
he's got to be a Tar Heel now. Is that what you're
Like,
saying?
yeah, just every time he drink, he really likes to kind of let the follow through hang a little bit. He'll like blow kisses to the crowd, kind of do this motion on his face. That's the kind of stuff that it's the little things that that get me more excited about a potential ad.
The swagger is there. You're saying the
It
swagger is
is,
there.
yes,
And hey,
absolutely.
this was a freshman who started over 20 games on a West Virginia team that was not supposed to be good and should have made the NCAA tournament.
Just
I
not over
think
UC, over Xavier, but yeah.
correct. I think that counts for something. I think that counts for something, and he's going to have a good landing spot. It seems, no matter where he picks, but it'll be fun to follow. Once he commits, I'm sure we'll have a video up on the channel. So make sure you like and subscribe.
It is March, and that means that March Madness is upon us. And if you are looking for a place to play, Underdog Fantasy has you covered. Sign up and deposit using code SLEEPERS, that's code SLEEPERS, to receive up to $1,000 in bonus credit plus a free pick. Head over to Underdog Fantasy today and use promo code SLEEPERS to take advantage of this amazing offer.